Guys, so I'm here to make another video. Okay, so I want to say this. Um, a lot of y'all guys may have children. Some of you may not. Okay, but this is to my children and what I just experienced on yesterday with my kids. I was really in the doubt to even come and make this video because I felt like I didn't have to put this on social media. You know, when it comes to your children, things are begin to be a little personal. It hits in a different way. And I want to say this: when you're dealing with a warlock, when you're dealing with dark witches in your family, and that's trying to help a warlock to bring in conflict and whatnot, or to kill you off or come attack your children, because they can't touch you, collectors. They can't touch me, can't touch you. But they try to go to our children and touch our children and try to put their hands and their mouths on our kids. And I'm here to tell you something. So, no, my kids are in foster care. They've been in foster care for almost 2 years. Okay. Through false reports, false witness, false allegations. Okay. I'm going to say it one more time. False wishes, false applicants, false witness, false reports. Okay. And due to this situation, y'all, I had a dream. And before I even talk about this dream, I want to stick to this because I have something to tell my children. I don't know if you're going to see this video, my children, because I said my child, because it was just one that felt bold to do so. And I want to tell you, all of my children, first of all and foremost, I love you. I love you. I love you. Okay? And can't nothing in this world stop me from loving you or being there for you through the good and the bad and the ugly and the pretty. Can't nothing change that, baby. That's a mother's love. And I'm going to tell you something. I pray for y'all. I pray for y'all. But I know what's going on. I know that you are scared. I know that you're being forced to do things that's uncomfortable for you. I know that they have molested y'all. I know it. Because it's conversations that my children say that I don't even condone to. They're molesting my sons. May not be all of them, but they're molesting my sons. They're molesting my child. And they know which child I'm talking about. And so the reason why I stated this is because my son would often call me and say things like rapping. He loved to rap, and he would say certain things in those raps, and I didn't like that shit. I didn't like that shit at all, and he knew I did it. But moving on to say, as a mother, knowing these things to happen, excuse me, spiritual birds, knowing the things that I had to endure with my children, I want to tell my children, you know, I love you. I can't stress that enough because they don't have a father. Their father deceased. Okay? One of my kids' fathers deceased. Okay? And all I have is me. And when my kids came to me, I took care of my kids. I'm telling you, I took care of my damn kids. I took care of my kids to the point where my own family members started to look at me upside my head. You understand me? And I used to buy my kids Jordans every month. Every month, I was buying my kids Jordans. That was their request. It went from me buying Jordans to me buying Weebucks every week or every month. And due to this situation, my kids were taken from me. And for a long time, I couldn't talk about it. I was hurt. I was devastated. I felt like somebody was out there to kill me and to torture my life. And I came out here. I came on back home when they took my kids. Well, when I found out they moved my kids, three of my kids closer to me, which was in Houston. When I found out they moved, and that's when I was okay to come back. But my little boy, my little son, was the one that I was concerned about. And how would I say this? He was left in Fort Worth, Texas. Okay. And he has been adopted. Less than 2 years, less than a year, they helped and adopt my child out to a family and didn't give me a chance to fight for my child and come back home. Okay. I had one person in my life, one friend in my life, steady, that knew every fucking thing, and that was Floyd Harmon Jr. He knew every fucking thing. He come to find out during this whole spiritual awakening that I'm going through with the music that's been out. He was the one that was reporting things back to my family members. He was the one speaking about things and having people to attack me in those places. They had destiny swap me. And I didn't know why I was going through those things. And I'm going to tell you something. People always send messengers. They always send messengers. Everywhere you go, they're going to send a message to inform you. I was talking to a guy, and that guy was asking me questions. And I said, I don't know why I'm going through these things. I don't know why. And he said, do you think you have somebody out there that's against you? And I didn't really have no words. I'm like, no. He was like, do you got any friends? This, that, and there. And I'm like, yeah, I got one friend, but that person kept it calm, played his part. You hear me? And after a while, I stopped talking to him because people were saying, well, when I was going through getting my kids removed from me, I wasn't even talking to this guy. They had already was setting shop with people around me. They had already let people know in and on what that was going on and what they were doing towards me. They had already had plans that I wasn't supposed to be, that they weren't going to let me stay there and get my kids. Okay, because the caseworkers were saying things like, oh, where this place where you live at, you shouldn't have kids here. I've lived here before, and you won't get your kids back staying here. Now, I got a place. My place is fully furnished. My lights on, my water on, there's food. Bills are paid, rent is paid, car notes paid, everything's paid up. So why you feel like because this environment for that you feel like it's not fit for my kids, you feel like I shouldn't be here. My kids shouldn't be able to come here. That's because they had already made plans to adopt out my kids and to keep my kids in the care. Okay, due to lies and false reports and allegations that's being placed on me. So moving forward to say all this, y'all, let me get to the tea of this situation that I'm talking about. Okay, so during the time that I had my kids, I stayed in Fort Worth, Texas, 5959 Meadowbrook Drive. That's where I stayed. And I still got the license, the picture, ID of that address. That's where all of this shit happened at. Well, it was another place that some things happened at, but I just want to start here. So this will be probably a part 2 or part 3 to what I'm saying, but it will be back to back on here for you guys to catch on to what I'm saying. So I live next door to a white guy, and he drove the little bitty bug car. One of the I had a gray car just like his. He drove a car, a little green car, and he would do spell work in his home. Okay, I know you guys are going to say, how do you know that? Why are you saying that? Why are you doing that? Just listen. You would know. I'm telling you. So y'all, I was before my kids came home, I had to get my house prepared. My kids was already in foster care. I would come home and see what the biggest mistake I made as a mother and as a single person. I made a mistake, and I'm gonna tell you that mistake. I'm gonna give you the whole rundown. So I moved in some apartments. I met a lady. She blessed me. She helped me. They helped me move my furniture in. Okay. I moved my furniture in. I got settled or whatever, and I was going through a separation, meaning I had to depart from my friend. And as I departed, I'm living next door to my neighbors, and my table had failed, something failed, and I went to knock on the people's door to ask them to help me. And he didn't answer, so I was like, okay, well, they must not be friendly neighbors. That was my first thought. So as I went through this situation, y'all, I end up, hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, okay, good. So I end up, what did I end up doing? I ended up going back in my unit or whatever. So as time went on, y'all, I would get woke up. I had a job. I worked at Mary Maids. And I lived in Fort Worth, Texas. And when I worked at this job, y'all, I used to have to get up. No, I worked at it wasn't that job. It was another. I worked there too when I lived at that apartment, but I left that job and we worked at a motel. I can't call it, but I worked at the motel, and y'all, I used to have to get up at like maybe 4 o'clock in the morning to get ready for work. This man, now I didn't know this at first. So help me God. I didn't know this at first. So this man would come, ask for project in my home, and wake me up. He would touch my feet. And I would wake up at the same time every morning to get ready for work. And I said, well, that's a spirit waking me up, but it's not harming me. Why is this spirit waking me up? And I'm not saying nothing. I never said anything, but I'm just wondering. So as time went on, certain things started going on. So I can sense like bad energy right at the immediately. I started sensing bad energy. I would come in the house and I would I wouldn't even get in the house good. I'll be standing at the door and I'll just fall to my knees and start crying and praying on the floor. I crawled on the floor just praying and worshiping God. And I started throwing up a whole bunch of clear stuff. I did it a couple of times. I was purifying the energy. There was a spirit there that wasn't supposed to be there. I don't know what type of spirit he brought out, he had in that home, but I cleaned it out. I cleaned the spirit out. And I would get woke up every night. And so when my kids finally would come home, when my family finally came home to me, these people were entering to my home, messing with my paperwork. The maintenance guy, I got cool with. He was a young guy. And he would often, what did he do? He would often come by and ask me, oh, can I get something to eat? Did you cook? I don't got no food, this, that, and the third. I'm waiting for my ride, this, that, and the third. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But that was before my kids, that was during my kids being there and before my kids came. So he would come to eat. And so I will feed him, and then I'll let him leave, because I didn't smoke, I didn't drink, so it ain't no purpose of you staying. So he left, and whatnot, what have you. So he started coming into my unit. I had nice things. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had Steve Madden bags, Steve Madden shoes. I was obsessed with Steve Madden. I love Steve Madden products. And they was not cheap. They were very expensive. So I remember calling my person or contacting him, or I ended up talking to him. Some way, somehow, I ended up talking to this person. And he was saying, well, I'm in jail. I'm in handcuffs. They taking me to jail. He had did this shit to me. He had turned around and had this shit happen to me. So he was lying. And y'all, don't you know, he texted me at 4. I said, well, I'll help you. That's what I said. And I returned that energy back to sender. Right now, as I speak, I returned that to sender. A couple of weeks went on, a while had went on. And I was talking to him and I was saying, well, well, you gonna be right. He said, well, I don't even know why they let me talk to you right now. He said, that's stuff that they normally don't do. So he's like, I guess, it's meant for you to, I guess to help me out or whatever. I don't know. But he was running game on me. That motherfucker ran some fucking game on me. Do you understand me? So I'm like, okay, I don't mind helping you out, but you'll have to wait till later on tonight. I don't get paid till like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. That's what I told him. So I end up getting a text message at 4 something in the morning, and so I sent the money. I don't remember how much money I sent to him. I sent him some money to bail him out, and from my understanding, he said that was his mom his mom was gonna call me or whatever, and he had text me like he was his mom, like it was his mama, and she was saying, this lady said, oh my God, I can't believe I'm really saying this. But she said to me, she said, well, I don't know if you know what Flaw been through. Flaw been through a lot since his last marriage. And I'm like, yeah, he told me about it somewhat or whatever. And I'm like, okay, and she was like, basically like, she's suffered through a lot and to get a divorce or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, like, all right, like I got things to do, I don't have time to really, go back and forth about what happened. Like I didn't really want to hear that, I don't know why. I just had a lot going on. My mind was and my spirit was focused on my family. I was just being a open-minded person, a heartful person, to give to somebody that I knew that was there for me before. I didn't really have the time or the energy at that time to even really go back and forth with what was going on. And then when I called her, she didn't answer. So I'm an empath. And at that time, I was getting to know who I am and my gifts and my talents. And I said, you know what? I'm not feeding into that. Because see, I'm the type of person I want to hear it. I want to hear you talk to me. I want to get an understanding. I want that feel, that energy. Texting someone is not feeling that energy. It's a different vibe. So I end up, stop talking to her or whatever, and I end up keep going about my business or whatnot or what have you. So it's getting hot. So while all this is going on, so I just kept going. Like, I called him like maybe 1 to 2 times. I sent him money like 3 to 4 times when I moved. When I was fighting to get my kids back, I asked him to come with and stay with me. When I come visit me. I was living in Denton trying to get my kids back, but I had a motel and I was working at the motel. I had got all my stimulus payments, all my money to get me a place. And I sent him money it was a Walmart to Walmart. And I started having dreams about him. And I started writing my dreams down and putting them in my Bible. And I would sit there and pray and worship all day. And after that, I end up, meeting people, talking to people, getting to know other people. And I stopped talking to this person. I stopped texting and calling that person and whatnot or what have you. So after that, I was given an offer to go on the dark side. I was offered to go on the dark side, and I got mad, got very angry. I really did. I got very angry and very frustrated. And I just kind of started seeing the people a little different, but it was like, okay, this is mindful people still. You can't do that, Erica. You got to be focused. So I kept going. And eventually I ended up moving out of the place, but out of that apartment, the motel, and moved into that apartment. And not that apartment first, but the second apartment where I was staying, about my kids being placed there. My kids moved there, and they were saying how my kids couldn't fit to live there. And I moved into another place, which was the 5959 Meadowbrook Drive. I moved there. And when I moved there, y'all, I just experienced this so much. It sounds like I'm everywhere with this story, but it was so much that went on. And this was in the beginning when I first gave that person some money when I lived out of town. So that was when I stayed, when I was trying to get myself together. And when I got myself together, that's when I moved into the apartment and the 5959 Meadowbrook Drive apartments. And that's when I started experiencing, like I stated, the guy waking me up and up out my sleep or whatever or whatnot or have you. And I was trying to get my kids back. Y'all, I end up letting the guy come over there, eat, whatever. So after that, I end up putting, like, how would I say this? My kids came home, okay? All of them came home at one time, okay? During that time and that my kids came home, I was getting ready to move out of the apartment to come back to Beaumont. Confirmation.
Be back in a bit. Try not to burn the house down.
Confirmation. So, I moved into not moved, but when I got myself together in the house and whatever, the caseworker was coming to visit me, this, then the third. So, during this time while she was there, she had ended up leaving her wallet, her Bank of America card on the floor. Why'd she do that? And I was wondering why she was standing there. Like, I thought it was my card because I'm with the same bank. So I called her immediately. I said, hey, you left your card here. You need to come get your card, this, then the third. I said, I don't want this in my home. I said, you need to come get your card. So she didn't come get her card. So I called her supervisor for her to come get that card. So y'all, after she came got the card, she ended up, she didn't come get the card. She didn't. The supervisor called her and told her to come get the card. She didn't come get the card. So I told her I was going to put the card in my Bible. So I had a visit the next couple of weeks and she came got that thing. But I started praying because I don't know if she just thought I was hard up for money or that, that they would come. She was probably trying to warn me that they was coming to get my money or whatever or whatnot. Babe, I started praying. And I said, Lord, whatever you do, take off my case. Take off my case. Because if she crooked enough to do that, she'll do anything else. And one day she said she had another job position. She came in the office and said, I got another job position, da-da-da. So I got up. And my kids was like, Mama, she leaving the case. But this and that, she's not our caseworker no more. I was like, yes, she is. What are you talking about? Because the kids was getting ready to come home. Or whatever. They was like, no, Mama, she not the caseworker no more. Like the other lady gonna bring us home. Da da da. I'm like, no, they're not. What are you talking about? And I said to the kids, be quiet. Y'all know it's just, I'm like, we can't, because they would tell us we couldn't talk about certain things. So I tell them, we can't talk about that. Be quiet. You don't know what to talk about. Like then they're like trying to tell me. So the lady came in and she was like, no, the boys are right. I'm leaving and I'm not the caseworker. Da da da. So when she left out, I went up to the side. I started praising God. I started doing the hallelujah dance right there in the building, because I prayed for that. Because she was trying to basically set my mind and my spirit like my kids wasn't going to be able to come home. And she was telling me, I'll have video calls with my kids. And she would tell me, don't let them see the room. Don't let them see this. Don't let them see that. I said, let me tell you something. I have to give them my progress. That's what I'm supposed to do on this case. They were trying to tell me what not to do. So to make my kids feel like they wasn't going to be able to come home. So I rejected her. And she didn't like that. So I started praying and asking God to remove her off my case. So, anyways, my kids came home or whatever. And my neighbor started doing things. He started my son was sitting down in the living room. This is you would call this paranormal activity, right? If you wasn't awakened or aware what was going on. So my son sitting down playing the game. I had a picture on the wall of a sunflower, a white sunflower. My house was nice. My house was nice. 444 on the timer. The picture flew off the wall and hit my son directly on his hand. And all my son was like, ouch. He didn't think of nothing of it. But me, I said, it's the man next door. It's the man next door. He doing witchcraft. And often I would sit in my living room, but I would often, like, when I would sit certain places, I would notice, like, I hear him right by the wall. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing right here? You know, and I would sit in my living room. So I'm going to tell you how I knew, how I found out. I never been in this man's apartment, but one day we got into it. They were coming in my house over my balcony. They was crossing over my balcony, coming to my unit, into my house through the back door, because they didn't give me a back door lock, door key. So I had no key to my back door. So they were coming into my house through the back door of the balcony. And I couldn't prove that. But one day I changed the lock. And that man started beating. Bah, 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 beating. I'm talking about like he was angry. Yeah. And this is my home where I paid my rent and lay my head. He was mad because I changed that lock on that back door. So when I changed the lock on the back door, and I was going back and forth with him and arguing and this, that, and the third. And when I would leave out my house, he would call me a fat nigger bitch. He was racist. He said, I'll kill you, you fucking nigger. And I walk in to my apartment, to my car. And I'm live. And everybody on the live was like, who is that? I was like, that's the guy that I've been telling you guys about that's been harassing me. It's my neighbor. And I said, they're doing some form of spell work over there too. And so one day I come home, it's St. Patrick's Day. He got all those goddamn signs up: kiss my ass, spit, stop crying, something like this little petty shit. So I went to the office. I sent her an email what that man put on that fucking door. And they had did it where they was putting shit on my side of the wall, I guess, you know, to decorate or whatever. It was just all kind of shit. So one day this man had I had left out my living room. I started sleeping in my bedroom. And I started having dreams about my son, my little boy. This is where I'm getting at now. My son had I had a dream about my son. An alligator was trying to bite my son, and I jumped on top of that alligator and I said, didn't I tell you to shut your mouth on my child? Shut your mouth on my son. And I slapped that alligator's mouth closed. And I woke up out the dream. The alligator was my family. I had a dream about this a couple of years ago about a whole bunch of alligators coming after me. And I defeated the alligators. The alligators are part of satanic rituals and demonic and satanic dreams and things like that. That's just your family. Excuse me for stuttering, but that's your family. And I end up having that dream, and they were calling my sisters in them name. They were saying my sister's name. And I'm like, no, that ain't just my sisters. I know that's more than just my sisters. And it went from me having a dream about that to I started having a dream and I saw all my kids in this dream. It was a snake, which is my person. He's the snake. And I'm going to tell you how I know that my person's the snake. I will leave this for part 2. So like, share, and comment. And I'll give you guys part 2.